What's going on, Vegas Nation? I'm your host, Cassie Soto, inside of the Las Vegas Review-Journal studio. The Raiders held their second OTA open to the media, meaning our Vegas Nation crew was finally able to get eyes on Antonio Brown in a silver and black uniform. They also saw one of the newest Raiders suit up in Richie Incognito. Let's send it over to Michael Gehlken, Adam Hill, and Heidi Fang for more.
Thanks, Cassie. It's Heidi here with Michael and Adam, and we are all out at the Raiders headquarters on this Tuesday where the OTA session just took place. But before that, we had some huge news. The Raiders signing Richie Incognito to a one-year deal. Michael, what can you tell us about that?
Well, he's going to have a lot of opportunity to start for the Raiders. We saw him already seeing first-team reps at left guard due to an injury to Denzel Good, who finished the season as a starter at left guard, but Raiders are really looking for competition there. So Incognito is probably the favorite. We'll see exactly what his role is and how it materializes and crystallizes over the course of the coming months. But the key thing with Incognito is something that Mike Mayock told us before practice, which is the Raiders need to and do have a plan to have Incognito be successful. And we're not just talking about him as a football player, but there's a mental health component where there's a lot of baggage that Incognito carries into Oakland. It's not just what he checked into at the airport. Like, he's got some real baggage that is of concern, including an August arrest last year from a funeral parlor incident. There was another incident in May of last year. And so there's a chance that Incognito wins the starting job, but due to a suspension, isn't the Raiders starting guard to start the season. So there's a lot to unpack with this, but Raiders happy to get him and his toughness on their offensive line.
Before we move on to talking about Antonio Brown here with Adam, I wanted to find out from you if you think that he will get that starting position and how much of a battle there is there.
I would say it's more likely than not that Incognito is the person who wins that job. The greater question, the interest is, he could win this job and, again, still not be the guy week one because of a possible NFL suspension. The Raiders don't know whether or not he will receive discipline, so we're going to wait to see. But if Incognito, due to health or suspension or otherwise, isn't the starter, Denzel Good, who is sidelined currently with what I believe is a groin injury, Good would be the person who steps in there at left guard.
Okay, so we'll keep you updated with everything there. Again, all the news that you can find from Michael on these stories are on reviewjournal.com. And Adam, today we saw Antonio Brown out here working out. That was kind of a treat for us as media. We haven't really had that opportunity yet. So what did you make of him and the connections that he was making out there on the field?
Well, I thought it was nice for Antonio to talk to the media the first day that I was out here. I think that was part of the reason that he did that. But yeah, I think it was cool to not only see him out on the field. We know what he can do as a player. That was never in question. And you saw little glimpses of that today, but certainly you saw him kind of bonding with his teammates. He talked about forming that camaraderie as he's talking to the media. Players are walking by, kind of, shouting him out, making noises, and he's making noises back. So you see that chemistry building. That was certainly the big question in Pittsburgh. We know kind of how that fell apart a little bit, and he's building those relationships here in Oakland, and I think it's a good start to everything, and we'll see how that develops throughout the course of OTAs, throughout the offseason, and into the regular season.
As we wrap things up here, what was the most notable thing for you, Michael, from camp today?
Boy, if I was to single out a particular play, and granted it's 7-on-7, so there's no pass rush, no one's in pads, but Derek Carr had a great connection with tight end Darren Waller. It was a deep pass, maybe 35 yards, tight window, and he was able to convert. And so Waller is someone who the Raiders are really excited about. We'll see whether or not they do something else at the position. Kyle Rudolph for the Minnesota Vikings, he's a trade candidate. There's a lot of things that still could happen at the position, but Waller, I think, was a bright spot. Granted, that was just one play, and there were some other ones I think you probably want back, but overall, Waller is certainly someone to watch.
And Adam, what was the big standout for you?
Well, I know that Michael thought it was a very routine play, but Antonio Brown is grabbing the one-handed catch. That's what I think people want to see out here. When you're coming to watch and you're coming to see, Antonio Brown here for the first time the media can see him in the OTAs, I think you're looking for that. And you saw that Antonio Brown, we've seen it 100 times. Cool to see it kind of up close and in person.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us here from the Raiders offseason training. For Michael Gehlken, for Adam Hill, I'm Heidi Fang. Back to you, Cassie.
Thanks, Heidi. For all things Raiders, head on over to reviewjournal.com as our crew will bring you the latest coverage of the team. For Michael Gehlken, Adam Hill, and Heidi Fang, I'm Cassie Soto. Thanks for watching.